Okay. Welcome, nice and early, 11 a.m. Yay. Okay. All right, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Garrett Wong. I acted on a show called Star Trek Voyager, but I also moonlight as the celebrity moderator for various people's panels. Yesterday I got the chance to moderate John Rhys Davis, which was wonderful. Anyone go to that panel here? Yes? That was wonderful. And today, without further ado, let's kick it to the intro video right now for our next guest.
Please welcome the voice of Mario, Wario, and so many more, Charles Martinet.
Hello, hey, Mario. Woohoo! Wario, have a today. Well, Luigi, everybody forgets about me. When? And baby Luigi. And baby Mario, let's go! Woohoo! Oh, boy, I want one of these cushions. Did you see these? Yippee! That's so great. Hi.
You know what I love about you, Charles, that you're able to do all the voices, everything that you know, for the fans, because there are some actors that have gone to cons. For instance, Wallace Shawn from Princess Bride. One of the things, before I moderated his panel, they told me, he doesn't want to talk about anything to do with Princess Bride. And I'm going, oh, God. You know, so if a fan asks a question, he'll answer it, but you cannot bring anything up. So if you know, people want him to say, inconceivable, but he'll never do that. But you'll do all the voices and the sound bites from Mario, no problem. You know, which is wonderful.
Yeah. I respect it. Every actor is different.
Yeah.
You know, to me, you know, I just want to say, I thank you so much. Your joy, your enthusiasm, your love for the games that I do, for the games that all of us do, the films, everything that we do, is such a wonderful thing. And it's that love and enthusiasm that gives us the opportunity and the privilege to come out here and meet you and be with you and just share the joy for what we all do together. I just really appreciate that, and thank you so much to Edmonton Expo. This is the greatest, most wonderful group of people that put on the most wonderful shows here in Calgary, and I think is it Saskatoon as well. It's absolutely beautiful to have this wonderful, safe, caring environment to explore your creativity and your passions and your joy. I'm one of the luckiest people in the world because I get to do what I love to do in life. And you do too, right? We get to do what we love to do. And unlike a plumber or an electrician, nobody comes up to an electrician and goes, wow, thank you so much. That plug you put in my kitchen made the toast for me every morning. And the kids, when the kids wanted to use the restroom at night, you wouldn't believe it. Every night the nightlight was on. It was fabulous. But, you know,
we should say to
right,
our electricians,
we should, because what really occurs to me is it's all about connection. That's what life is, you know, and I'm going to leak in a minute if I'm not careful, but you know, I recognize this thing because I had the wonderful privilege of riding with somebody in the van coming over here today. And I said, oh, Calgary, it's so beautiful, and the mountains and Lake Louise, it's the most wonderful place in the world. It's so romantic and beautiful. He goes, yes, I just wonder, my thought for the day is, you know, as you're sitting there drinking your tea and having your little sweet delicacy, and there's a guy up there in the snow, and it's blizzarding and snowing on him, and you're going, what a lovely mountain. And he's going, I hate this mountain. You know, or, you know, he's going, oh, what a warm, a lovely day in the desert. I can't wait till the sun sets. And, you know, oh, and there's the other guy going, oh my gosh, when the sun sets, I'm roasting. When I sun sets, I'm going to freeze to death. You know? So it's all perspective.
It is all perspective.
And it's how you get to the perspective that counts. And I think in absolute humility, because I really don't know, but seeking happiness and commitment to happiness, commitment to joy, commitment to connection, commitment to following your passions, your heart, whatever it is that is true to your heart and true to your love, is what makes connection possible. And connection is the real success. Money is great, houses and cars are great, but I think those things naturally happen when you are living in your joy, when you're doing what you love to do. And it's easy for me to say that because I'm sitting in, Chateau Louise and, having my tea going, isn't life lovely? But I recognize too, life is also hard, but it is connections that I talk about. The common human experience is the heart that we all feel, and just when somebody cries from the Middle East, they sound different, and you can find ways to be different. But the truth of it all is we are all connected.
Very true. We have a connection in that we have both lived in multiple places. Go ahead, applause.
Thank you. That's great. Thank you all. I'm applauding myself because I didn't cry, and then usually when I get,
You're about to cry, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But what we share in common is that we lived in multiple places when we were young. Because reading up on you, your last name is French. Right?
Yes.
Is it Martinet?
Martinet,
yeah. So you at one point lived in Spain when you were young?
Yeah.
And then you moved again from there to
France.
Yeah.
And
there to, what was the next
I
location?
went back to America, then to England, and now I just spend 12 months a year traveling.
Traveling around, yeah.
I live in suitcases.
Yeah. And so, same for me. Moved around many places as a youth. Which then I found that I, was able to do a lot of different accents and impersonations, like yourself.
Yeah.
So I think that lends to the voices when you have all these experiences of living in all these different places. Do you agree?
It's so great. I try to tell people everywhere in the world, travel. The different light, the different sound, the different art, the architecture. Every place has its own light and its own people and its own national character and personal character that helps you see that we're all one. And wow, we're not only one. This diversification of who we are and the way we express ourselves really ties us together and makes us much more interesting. Yeah.
And when you were at UC Berkeley, you were studying international law, but then you quit because
I dropped out.
What happened again? A tutor?
Well, I had the best professor in the whole wide world, and I can't remember his name, but I remember the one that I hated. So there you go. That's a little mix-up in my brain. But this guy was from England, and we studied political theory, the study of the nature of man. And his theory was that all people have a version of what is mankind. Is it that we're all happy and wonderful and just other things get in the way, or is it life is solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short if you're in nature, or is it just a social contract? Are we blank slates? And it's so fascinating because that was brilliant for me to read Hobbes, Locke, and Rousseau, but Plato and about Socrates and about all these different ideas on the nature of man. And his final exam was one question, part A, part B. One, what is the nature of man according to, and whatever it was, whoever we studied, and what is the nature of man according to you, based on what you know? And it was the first time I would ever ask to think in my whole academic life. And I railed through, in 15 minutes, Hobbes, as I could remember all these things in my mind. Hobbes, Locke, Rousseau, and I laid them out, and I'm like, oh, great. Now I have time to speak what I feel. And it was the first time in my life, and I loved it. And I thought, okay, this is the guy I'm going to do all my work with, graduate work, thesis. I'm going to go into international law because I'm going to understand humanity and be able to communicate with humanity. And I went back for my final 2 quarters.